These are your dear grandparents, Zhang Huasheng and Li Yinglian. Back in 1967, Yinglian was a Chinese physician working in Kunming. One evening, she was invited to dinner at a friend's home. There, she met a young man who was the apprentice of her friend's father, a mechanical engineer. Yinglian and Huasheng immediately felt a connection with each other as they were both Indonesian Chinese. They were married 2 years later. Why were they Indonesians? Why were they in China at that time? Their story is part of the narrative of mass migration of Chinese from their homeland to Southeast Asia in the early 20th century. Huasheng's grandparents were originally from Guangdong Meixian. In the 1930s, the whole family migrated to the Dutch East Indies, which was what Indonesia was called before its independence. They opened a shoe shop in a town in Sumatera Selatan. Huasheng was born in Indonesia just before the Japanese occupation from 1943 to 45. Life was not easy, but Huasheng grew up in a loving family. Yinglian's father was from a poor peasant family in Fujian. He had to leave home at the tender age of 13 to work in Chaozhou. At 18, he went to the Dutch East Indies alone to work for a successful clan member. He later became one of the most prominent businessmen in the city of Jambi. He married a wife in Fujian, but left her there to take care of his old mother. Yinglian was born in Fujian. Civil war then broke out, and China entered into a state of anarchy. Fearing for their safety, Yinglian's mother took her 2 children to leave for Indonesia in 1949 to be united with her husband, only to find that the household there was in fact run by his second wife. Relationships in the bigger family became complicated and even bitter. During this time, Yinglian went through the darkest days of her life. In the 1950s and 60s, the new People's Republic of China rolled out campaigns to attract overseas Chinese to return to their now liberated ancestral homeland. Troubled by the anti-Chinese movements back in Indonesia and fascinated by the Marxist ideology of equality, tens of thousands of young ethnic Chinese embarked on a journey to the new China. Huasheng and Yinglian were 2 of them. Did they find the better life they yearned for? That would be another story for another day. But at least they found each other.